but we do have a system in place as well for when we're running them as a team, and a system that I've used for years that works for me, that I got from my upline coach, and it's worked for her too. So it's nice to be on the same track and following that if you can. All right, so things that are going on with us, we have a little bit different schedule this month because we are running an Emerald in a Day group next Tuesday. I didn't want to do a team call and the Emerald in a Day thing all on one day. It was too much. So we're doing a Getting Started Right team-wide call on Thursday night, okay? What is that? Basically, 4 of us are going to go live in the group page for about 15 minutes each, and we're each going to go over some common questions and topics that new coaches need help with, like where do I find my training, what do I need to do right from the beginning, how do I use social media, how do I invite, how do we build a team and go Emerald and volume, what is all of that stuff? And so we're going to answer those questions, and so you'll pop on the team page at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 if you're Eastern, I guess that's 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Pop on the team page. You can listen in on the coaches who are leading that and ask questions as they're speaking, and then even afterwards, those recordings will be up and you can go back and ask questions, and we'll try to jump on there and answer any questions that remain. Success Club Blitz. Some of you are in there right now and you're like, what in the world are all these disgusting pictures? So I haven't run one of these in a few months, and I decided to bring it back this month. And what it is just a focus group to help you guys with inviting. We're answering each other's questions, like how would you respond to this, and just cheering each other on to reach that goal of Success Club this month, because you guys, that is a reflection of the amount of people that you're helping. And so I do a funny theme around it, or kind of a theme to make you want to get out of the group, because the rule is you can't leave the group unless you reach Success Club 6, which is now there's no longer a Success Club 5, so it's Success Club 6 technically. And so the theme is sunburns, and so I'm going to fill up your news feed with all these sunburn pictures, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm tired of seeing this. So it's just a reminder of what you're supposed to be doing and focusing on. We're only like just barely over halfway through the month, you guys. You should not be letting up the gas right now on inviting to your challenge group. My challenge group, my 30-day one, starts on the 26th. It's not too late. Even if the 26th hits, you guys, it's not too late to plug somebody into a challenge group. We'll get them in there. All access, now that they can get to their workouts via streaming, they'll be able to have on demand of some form. Even if all access isn't open right away, they'll still be able to join in with the fitness program, some sort of workout right from the get-go. And then they just wait for their Shakeology to come in. So not a big deal. Summit is just under a month away. Summit is July 13th through 16th. If you are not going yet and you've been thinking about it, it is not too late. There are still tickets on sale. You can't transfer tickets anymore. I believe that time frame is up, but you can still purchase a ticket to attend Summit this year. We will find you a place to stay. I wouldn't worry about that. We'll find you a hotel room or somebody's loft or somewhere to plug you into so you can attend that with us. Summit is such a turning point, you guys, for so many people who have, maybe they've been a coach and they're like, well, I'm not quite sure about this thing. And then they go to Summit and they're like, wow, they just feel that energy, and they hear stories, and being surrounded by other people that are passionate about something you're passionate about, it is just, there's something magical about it. So make it a priority. Get yourself there. You're not going to regret going. It's super, super fun. Team Courage is our upline team. And many of us, Nicole, myself, Julie, we're all going to be presenting at the Team Courage training as well. And the tickets, that'll be on Thursday morning. I didn't put that. I just said what time it's going to be at. But that'll be Thursday morning on the 13th. It's kind of our kickoff for Summit. It's a really good way to there's still going to be 800 people in the room, but it's still a smaller group, where we get to be around our coaches, Team Courage coaches, and learn from one another. We have a guest speaker coming in Sean Harper, that's his name. He is a former NFL player. I've heard him speak before a couple times. Absolutely brings the fire. He is amazing, and he's going to be talking to us for a whole hour. And then we've got some other things we've been planning to teach you guys on as well. So that's from 10 to 2. Those tickets are on sale. You can find that post in Dream Big or the Dream Big Summit page. And then we also are going to have a Dream Big Diamond Massages and Mimosas party, and I'm ordering you guys dinner as well. So that will be a big spoiling time. That's going to follow the Team Courage Summit party. So if you are a Diamond coach, you got to qualify as Diamond. Just be a Diamond coach on July 6th. You can attend that, and we'll leave from Team Courage straight over to our loft, and we will spoil you for a few hours before the opening ceremony. And I didn't get it on here, but we are also having a Dream Big wine party at Summit as well. That will be on Friday night. I think it's at 7:30. We are doing like a wine tasting shindig party at this wine store in town, and we have a private room. We'll have some hors d'oeuvre type foods, and you guys get to hang out for a few hours and taste a bunch of different wines. So that's pretty much all that's going on right now. That's a lot. And did I say Emerald in a Day training? I think I kind of talked about it, but that's going to be next week. The link to join that group is in Dream Big, so make sure you click on that. Even if you're an Emerald coach, okay? If you are an Emerald coach and you're like, okay, I haven't added any more people to my team in a while, you need to join that group. Maybe there's going to be some new information, something that just comes to light that will help you continue to grow your team. Because we don't just get to Emerald, or we don't just get to Diamond and then we stop. You have to think beyond that. And honestly, if you want to grow a business, your goal should be to go Emerald every month, meaning you need to be adding 2 coaches to your team every single month to make sure that it's moving in the positive direction. Because reality is, people do fall off, coaches go inactive, coaches quit, and so in order to keep your business moving forward, you need to be continually growing your team. All right, I'm going to stop the share. Nicole Grafton is going to be speaking with you guys tonight and sharing some tips on inviting, and I'm going to be piping in there as well with her. Nicole, you want me to make you a speaker? We'll spotlight you.
Doesn't matter. I can't see the chat. So if somebody posts questions, she'll just have to holler them out.
Oh, hang on. I'm not screen sharing anymore, right?
I see everybody.
Okay, cool. So we're good. All right. So Nicole, can you kick us off first by sharing a little bit about your story? You know, why did you become a coach, and who are you? Who do you have keeping your life very busy right now?
I have 2 little boys, a 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old. Y'all, he turns 2 next week. Actually, my coaching journey started 4 years ago last month. I had just had Cohen, our oldest, and not just had him, but I had just finished running a half marathon at over 200 pounds because I was told that if you would run and train, you would lose the weight, and I didn't. And I was struggling with some dairy issues and some nutrition issues, and I wasn't fueling my body properly. Oreos didn't count. And Kristen reached out to do a 10-day challenge in May, and I was at the end of a school year. I was the band director. I have almost a decade of teaching in Texas under my belt, and she's like, look, it's almost summer, you should try this. And I was like, well, I'm not. At the time, you did 90-day challenges, y'all, 90, and there was no way in God's green earth I was doing anything different for 90 days. So I did a 10-day, and I want to say I lost 10 pounds for the first time in like 6 months. Kristen messaged me every day. It was just kind of a breath of fresh air. And over the last, May through October, so what is that, 6 months, I lost 85 pounds. My mom's calling me, y'all. Oh. And Kristen all along the way asking me to coach. First of all, I have zero interest in working out and zero interest in nutrition. I have 2 degrees in music. I have a barely 1-year-old baby, and my husband works downtown Dallas. I'm not coaching. And then the next month she'd ask again, and the next month she'd ask again. And finally, by that point, people had been following my journey on Facebook. And I thought, well, if I can get the cost covered of Shakeology, then sure, what do I have to lose? So fast forward 4 years, and I have an incredible team of women and men. I have, for the most part, kept that weight off. I will say keeping it off after Anderson has been a challenge. I can't imagine doing anything different than this. I think all of my teacher years are preparing me for this, that my team prepares me for this, that my kids prepare me for this, and I'm just excited to be here. Kristen and I go way back. We were both flute players in the high school band together, so it is true that you're closest, and I mean, really, I can call Kristen at 2 a.m. now, and I think she would answer. Like, my closest friends have become coaches, and I don't know, 20 years ago, 17 years ago, that's a long time. I don't know that we could have said that. So I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'm certainly grateful for you. Does that answer sort of?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, so I have a list because I have a little bit of Emerald in me, and it's not really cohesive, but it covers what I really feel like I struggle with, my team struggles with, and especially my new coaches struggle with. And Kristen and I are always trying to figure out, like, how can we make this duplicatable and not make this so scary that people can't jump in. Honestly, for me, inviting at the beginning was out of desperation. I wanted to quit my job. We moved states. I needed an income to cover Shakeology. So, like, the invites I sent were like, hey, do you want to do a 10-day challenge? Because I was terrified to ask people for a 90-day. I had done one 90-day challenge. So at least now we have 21 days or 30. You know, it's like a little less intimidating. So I'm just hoping one of the list things that I share with you tonight kicks your butt in gear. And I say that out of love because some of you are like me at the beginning, and you've been listening to these calls, and you Google and you listen to YouTube and you message your coach, and you cannot take the action part. So I'm hoping something like lights a fire in you tonight, that you shut the computer screen down, even if I'm done in 5 minutes, and you go do something. Because the most successful coaches in this business do. The most successful challengers in this business do. They're not the ones you have to pull along. They're not the ones you're constantly sending meal plans to or asking questions about the nutrition information Shakeology. They're the ones that take it and go. And you can do that too. Okay, so before I start, there are 3 books that if you're not reading your PD, you need to, but this is kind of where I got tonight's info from. This one's called Beach Money. Beach Money. I got it for $1 at a used bookstore. It's by Jordan Adler. Very succinct, awesome, quick, multi-level marketing stuff. Anybody have fear? This one's called Fear, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Very similar to No Excuses, but kind of addresses, at least for me as a former and still struggle with my weight and my food, this addresses some emotional stuff. Because we all know that's why you don't invite. And then if you haven't read this one, you need to read this one. Get Over Your Damn Self. I mean, this is like the quintessential book of what you do as a girl boss. And finally, there's a YouTube video called Inviting with Confidence by Melanie Mitro, and she made it like 4 years ago, and she looks like old school Melanie Mitro, and she's just sharing from her heart. And I'm going to start with that because I get this question all the time. I'm just going to post a flyer. How come nobody posts on my flyer? I'm never going to be successful, and I'm going to quit. Anybody hear that before? Or did you think that? Or do you post your coaching call to actions on Sundays, and you're like, the only people that are commenting are your coaches, and the only people commenting are your challengers? I have a newsflash for you. Those are not what you want to do for inviting. Those are just part of your social media, which we're going to talk about at the end of the call. Please don't think that making this beautiful flyer with a funny face and a Snapchat filter and a flyer that says 10-day challenge is an invite, because it's not. It's just a way to let people know what you do. Like, I'm a band director. When I post a picture of myself conducting, that's just what I do. If I'm singing on Sunday morning and I post a picture of myself with a microphone, that's just what I do. No one posts on my like microphone picture and asks, can they sing with me? They don't do that. So please, like, tell your new coaches that are so stressed over, they're like, I got to make this first post and let everybody know I'm a Beachbody coach. No, just post a flyer every once in a while, let people know what you're doing, and then move on. If you don't ask, they won't come. If Kristen had never asked, I would not have come. I was too embarrassed to admit and too prideful to admit that running wasn't working. I was running like an 11-minute mile, fat, and miserable. And it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. I wasn't reaching out to her. She was on my social media. She hasn't changed at all in that aspect in the last 6 years. She was showing up. She was doing her workouts every day. I did not approach her, but she approached me. And I'm looking at the faces of some of you on this call, and some of you I invited. You didn't come to me. You didn't ask me. You may not have asked your coach. They came to you. So why is it that we think that posting a flyer is an invite? You got to make a list, and you got to invite from that list. Okay, your list is your life, and your coach's lists are their life. And if you don't have a list, you don't have a business. I use Teamzy. I started with a notebook. In fact, I brought it tonight. I still have my list each month written down, handwritten. This is my list. I'm not a crazy coach numbers. I'm just not. I don't have a huge amount of Success Club points. I don't invite 300 people a week. I stick to my focus list, and I make that on the last day of every month, and I have for 4 years. And I'd say it's working. I get to add value to people that I don't know. I follow up with people that have asked me questions, and then I can invite new ones. So if you don't have a list, you're kind of like grabbing out of the middle of nowhere. And I bet the ones of you that don't have a list are relying on your coaching ads and your like challenge group flyers to get your invites out. And that's just grabbing at straws. It's a great place to get people if they actually like it on social media, for you to get their name and send them a private message. Hey girl, thanks for the love on my post. How are you doing? Are you struggling with your fitness too? No one wants to be told that they're the only one struggling with their fitness. Like Kristen was right along with me. We were nursing babies at the same time. Like, it's a struggle sometimes to lose weight when you're nursing. It's a struggle to stay on, when you want glasses of wine and chocolate. No one wants to do that on their own. So your list is your life, and make sure that you have one of those. Okay, here's the fear part. You have got to get to the point where you realize you are providing a service to your people. This is not fake. This is genuine. I have lost a third grader. Kristen has 16 abs. Like, this is not a pill that we're swallowing and we're like photoshopping our pictures. And if you don't believe that, then this is what you get to do. You get to start your journey today. Do a 3-day refresh. Do a Shakeology cleanse if you can't freaking order a refresh. Because today is day 1, and in 3 days, you're going to have results. Now, if you cheat and have a glass of wine and you don't have results in 3 days, whose fault is that? If you try to do the Shakeology cleanse and you go have tacos on the last day and you take your after pictures and you're all swollen, here's the swift kick in the butt. This stuff works, but you have to do it. Same thing with your challengers, the same thing you're inviting your people with, but you are inviting to an actual, this is what we do. This is not a quick fix. This is not a facade. And I think the fear is the bubble will burst, that Shakeology is a magic drink. Some of you are selling Shakeology as a magic drink. It's not magic. It's not. And when your clients or your challengers join and it doesn't make them lose, then they quit. Okay. How do you build that? You build that by doing 3-day refresh or by doing a Shakeology cleanse. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Super easy. Or if that's too much for you, every time you have a small win in the next 7 days, you post about it. Did you work out today? Is that unusual for you to last all 30 minutes? Post. And then 3 days later, do you realize that you've had 3 wins over those 3 days? Post. If you turn down alcohol Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday brunch, is that a win for you? Then post it. I don't know why we think we have to be perfect, and that your nutrition has to be perfect, and that if you eat a thing of ice cream, no one else is going to respond to your challenge group ads. People can't relate to that, and that's not believable. So if you're offering a product that works, hello, move your body more. Have you seen the transformations in Dream Big? This works. This is not fake. You have to build the belief to get through that. I know that it's scary to put it out there. I know that you're going to get pushback from that. But when you get a text message from someone who's sobbing in the dressing room from putting on a black dress 3 sizes smaller than she thought ever humanly possible, all of the negativity goes away. And there are highs and lows in this business, but you're in charge of that belief part. You're in charge of getting over that fear. No one else is going to do that for you. And the only way to get over that is to be action-oriented. You cannot wait until the end of insanity to post results. You cannot wait until you make $5,000 as a coach to post that you've made an income. You can't. People don't relate to that. Great, that's an insanity result. Anybody have this thought? I'll never be able to do that. I'll never be able to finish P90X. I'll never be able to. That's what your challengers are thinking, or your audience is thinking. So does that help? You're offering something incredible. I'm sitting here on a call with, I don't even know, 20, 30, 40 people who have like-minded interests on a random Tuesday night instead of being by myself with my 2-year-old, 240 pounds. Like, that is something incredible. That is something incredible.
Yeah, and that's, one of the things that Julie Voice, I'm still not quite done with that call. I got interrupted with bath time and everything today. But I was listening to the replay of the National Wake Up Call, and she was talking about, what's it called, the not TNT things, the not talent stuff. What we do as coaches, you guys, like, I'm not doing anything magical over here. I don't have some special talent or anything like that. Like, really, you guys, I've just focused on the basics, and so has Nicole and Martha and, Leslie and Melissa, so many coaches who are listening to this even tonight. And they're showing up on our team call tonight, you guys, and they know how to invite, but we remain teachable. We plug in and surround ourselves with others. And you guys, it's not the posting on Facebook, like Nicole said, is just part of exposure. I mean, I put up a flyer yesterday, not a flyer, but like an image of me and an invite to join my team. Nobody commented like, sign me up. Which sometimes once in a blue moon, you'll get a few people from that. But like, I got some likes, which is awesome. I need to go back and see if those are all coaches. But it's just a part of exposure. And I know that. Like, the more people see things and read your story continually and see how coaching and being a part of challenge groups is changing and influencing your life, when you do reach out, when you're doing the behind the scenes stuff that you're supposed to be doing, following your Power of 3 or your Team Z, tracking things in some way, you've built that trust with them using social media, and they know a little bit about where you're coming from. But if you never share your story and you never build that trust on Facebook, then when you invite, then they don't know if they can trust what you're saying. And heck, even if you are consistent on social media, it doesn't mean that everybody says yes to me. That's certainly not true. I have to follow up a lot, but that's where the trust starts. Does that make sense? So it's all the non-sexy stuff, the no talent type stuff that we have to be doing every single day is what's going to build this business. And you get to decide, that's what you're in control of. You get to decide if you're going to put the time in every single day. Can't just show up, 2 days a week and expect it to work and wonder why is my team not growing? Why is nobody joining my challenge group? And it also doesn't happen in just 2 months of you becoming a coach. I've been at this 5.5 years. Nicole's been at it for 3-4 years. I mean, it takes a lot of consistency, but knowing, what your vision is what drives you to keep going. Sorry, Nicole, to throw you off.
Totally fine. Oh, we bow down. Okay, so the actual invite, I always say private message. Anybody know when I'm talking about PMs? Anybody say personal message when you train your team? I read that a couple of days ago and I thought, here's the thing. Why are we calling it private messaging? Are you scared of what you're sending? It's not private. Nothing on my Facebook page is private. Nothing. It's all public. Why am I calling them private messages? They're personal messages. They're messages where we talk about divorce, we talk about postpartum depression, we talk about the skin flab that gets chafed and irritated and it hurts to work out underneath the C-section scars. We talk about, as Rhonda on the call, we talk about poop. We're talking personal messages. We're not talking private messages. And I think that's a mindset thing, because we're telling our teams and maybe yourself to go send 2 messages a day or 2 follow-ups a day. And if you're thinking them as private messages, maybe that's where the disconnect is. You have to be open and honest and raw and genuine for them to feel that. Anybody ever get messages from people that you know are not being genuine with you? You can feel it. I can feel it with my family. I can feel it when I walk into church. You know when that message is private, it's a private message instead of a personal message. So I just encourage you to maybe talk to them as personal messages. I want you to send 2 personal messages. Most of mine start with the struggle that I've had that day. There's no secret that I am not a good stay-at-home mom. I love my children, but those 3 days I get out of the house are gloriousness for me. The whole world is happier when I come home at 2 o'clock, and usually my messages that day to my people, my tribe, my forming are always like, oh my gosh, I've been home 2 hours. Where's the white wine? And then I ask about their day, and we talk back and forth. It is a personal message. If you are starting to get messages where people are asking you about your finances and your husband and your, how do you get up at 5 a.m, you know that you've hit the sweet spot and that you can send the invite out. If you are keeping it very surface and you're teaching your coaches to keep it very surface as a private message, like you're scared to like address it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Private messages will never build your business. Keeping your business small will never build your business. Okay, so you know these people. I'm not going to go through forming relationships. I'm hoping that you know how to keep your funnel full. We're talking about taking action and inviting. You have to lead with what's in it for them and what's in it for them and what is in it for them. Please don't lead with, I need to hit Success Club in 2 days. Can you help me? Or, hey, I've got a goal to meet by the end of the month. Have you considered coaching? You laugh. I have sent those. New coach, I didn't know any different. I have coaches that have sent those. I've gotten those from other multi-level marketing people. So what is in it for them? If you don't know what that means, if that's too vague, what's their pain point? Do they want to stay home with their kids? Are they tired of being 200 pounds and running? It was in Dallas, so it was like 110 degrees outside in the summertime. Like, I was tired of it, and I wasn't seeing any results. Kristen found my pain point. She found it. I had full intentions of sending Shakeology back, and then I lost weight. Shocker. Because I wasn't eating Oreos. Imagine that. Find their pain point. If you're inviting to the coaching opportunity and the only thing you're talking about on your social media is that this tribe is awesome, but they have an amazing tribe, that's not their pain point. Everybody has one. And it might be different this year for them than it is next year. Some of you that have been coaches for a long time, your pain points are different year 1 than they are different year 3. But you have to lead with what's in it for them and what their pain point is. And you have to train your coaches to do the same thing. I just looked at an invite yesterday. I ask my coaches sometimes to send me so that we can kind of troubleshoot where the breakdown in communication is. And my coach was addressing all of these amazing things about our accountability group when her prospect could care less. Her prospect kept asking some emeraldy questions, like ingredient questions and stuff. And I was like, hey, you're not addressing her pain point. She doesn't need the accountability. She doesn't want to coach for the accountability. She's got that part down. She wants to know about these other things. So lead and be able to read in between the lines. Like when your husband comes home and he says, how was your day? And you say, fine. Does he take you for fine? Why is it that when you get a message from someone that you just take it for black and white? Read in between the lines and find their pain point. And if you need help doing that, ask your upline. People that have been doing this longer, the most successful people are the ones that are people. They get people. And if that's not you yet, we all started there. Some of us go really fast in this business because you get people. Some of us, I was high school, junior high band director. They're not people. They're little humans. They're not really people. So I had to learn. Kristen still helps me with some of my invites because I'm like, I don't know how to relate. And my first instinct sometimes isn't very helpful. I'll just be honest. Okay. And then secondly, and this is what worked really well for me, and it works really well for my newer coaches, make it about us and not about them. you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have the perfect meal plan. You don't have to have the perfect 21-day fix challenge group for them. My invites at the beginning, and even sometimes like this summer, I'm changing up some of my challenge groups. I say, hey, I really need your help doing this together. Fill in the blank. Do you want to run a challenge group together? Some of my coach invites right now are like, I need some new blood. I need the accountability. I've got some fun ideas. I'm not super fun. I'm just not a whole lot of Sapphire-ness. I wish I could be Leslie Ficus, and I'm just not. If I could like take a little bit of you and put you, girl, in my challenge group, we would like be awesome. So I'm asking those people to help me. If this is about us, look at this call. This is about us. If you start the mentality and send an invite like, oh, I'm the coach and you are the prospect, and I'm inviting you to come to my challenge group, that's a breakdown in communication. Nobody wants to, I don't want Chris to tell me what to do. I want her to do it with me. I want to know when she's struggling, and I want to know when she has her wins. My coaches want to do the same thing. Sometimes they want to run groups with me because they haven't been in a couple of months. Sometimes they want to break apart because they want to run their own groups, but we do it together. So my big thing is when you're sending out an invite, make it about what their needs are, what their pain point is, and then do it to us. Okay, well, I just signed a new coach, and she's barely done the 3-day refresh, and she doesn't want to run her own challenge group. How does she send an invite? Like this. Hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. My coach is awesome, and the challenge group I just did last week was awesome. Have you ever considered doing something like that? I'd love to do it together. I mean, that to me is genuine. I didn't know what I was doing. Kristen was running the challenge groups. Buffer wasn't even invented. I didn't know. So I asked people to do it with me. Here are 2 examples. And when I'm done with the call, I can copy and paste these. Please don't feel like you have to write this script down, but I'm going to read it out loud because some of you are oral learners. Here's an example. I've been thinking about you a lot because I remember us talking how you love to be there for your kids. Hear the pain point. But you miss having something of your own for your sanity, your identity, or your bank account. I wouldn't say all 3 of those things, but I would address one of them. This is like speaking directly to me because that's who my tribe is. I thought of you because I'm working with so many women just like you who are spending time, part-time, every week building lucrative businesses of their own while being able to be hands-on with their children. I have no idea if this will be a good fit for you, but it might be a way for you to have your cake and eat it too. Does this sound like something you'd be interested in? You could send that as a voice memo so they can hear your inflection. You could just cut and paste and then fill it in, whatever their pain point is. My pain point right now is a lot of mamas that work and they want balance. They don't want to stay home. They want to be able to do both. Not that I am doing both really well right now, but I'm doing it. Okay, here's another one for coaching. Especially like if they're in challenge groups or anybody have people on your newsfeed, maybe it's not even fitness people, but they're just inspiring. Like they just have this light that comes out of their soul. It doesn't matter if they're posting about politics or they're posting about their kids. It's like, it's just a fresh breath of air. A fresh breath of air. Y'all. Whew. And I'm not even drinking it. I have water. Okay, girl, I see what you do. You're a superwoman with your big job and your 2 kids. I wanted to tell you about my coaching business because I work with so many other demanding moms like you who are juggling kids and jobs and husbands and then you could fill in their pain point. All of us are building side businesses that are growing enough to give us choices, whether it's to take part-time hours or to stay home full-time. Have you ever considered doing what I do as a coach? Even if it's not for you, I have a feeling you might know somebody who it would be right for. I don't send that all the time, but sometimes you know they're going to say no. I have an amazing rep for a couple of companies that there's no way. Like we're not allowed to be high up reps for their companies, so I always ask them for referrals for people that they, even if it's just for a season, even if it's just for 3 or 4 months as a coach. Okay, at the end of the invite, close your computer, walk away, wait for them to respond. They're probably going to respond with something generic. Expect an objection. I would be a little terrified if they didn't send an objection. They're just going to take you at your word. Like you could say, here's some cocaine. Why don't you go take it? Like they're going to come back with an objection, y'all. So don't be fearful of the objection. You just have to address it. And every time I address an objection throughout the invite process, I ask them to do something. Can you send me a goal? Can you send me your favorite recipe? Can you send me a picture of you when you felt the best? I ask them to take an action. I don't want a team, whether coaches or challengers, of people that think I'm going to freaking pull them along. I'm not. You have to push play. You have to put your Shakeology in the blender. Anybody got any objection that like they can't make their Shakeology? It's so hard to put it in the blender. I'm like, if you can't put your shake in the blender, this is not going to work. I am not the coach for you, either on a coaching level or on a challenger level. So I always ask them to do something. And more often than not, that kind of separates the seeds for me on the action versus non-action. And that's okay. That's okay. So don't feel like you have to be everything for everybody. But find a recipe, old picture. I told you that already. Okay. Emotionally, you cannot be attached to the outcome. And I'm speaking to me too in this call. I get to the point at the beginning of the month and I'm like, yes, I got it. I'm in the bag. I've got 10 people. We're good to go. And I stop inviting and I stop being really consistent. And then come the middle of the month, like this month, I'm sitting at SC0 and I'm like, dang it. They all said no or later, whatever, they're out of town. So here I am emotionally attached to the next 3 invites that I sent out, like, oh my God, you have to say yes. You have to say yes because Summit is in 2 weeks and I don't have time. Like all of that. Or anybody see the like pain in that person so much that they need this tribe more than they know? Or you can relate to the, like for me, the depression part was pretty scary the last couple years. It was just scary. And to see messages come back and I'm like, if you would just read a PD book and plug in with my team twice a month, I could tell you 50% of those conversations would be better. But they aren't ready and it hurts your heart and you spend all night worrying about them and then the next week and then 2 weeks later and they're not on and you're worried about them. And you have to emotionally disconnect from the outcome. You have to put it all out there. This is what it is. This is what I'm offering right now. If this sounds good for you, awesome. And then anybody have people drag you along? Oh, maybe next week. Oh, I'll respond in a couple days. And like it just keeps going on and on. That conversation, the end of that invite goes like this. It goes like this. Hey, this is not the right time for you, it seems, or whatever your version of that is. I don't think this is the right time for you. Is it okay if I check on you in 3 weeks? Maybe that will be a better time. 2 things will happen. I guarantee. There's no other, it's black and white here. 1, they will apologize profusely. They will find your email. They will sign up. You'll be good to go. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean this. I'm so busy. Or 2, they've been waiting for the out and they're going to say to you, thank you so much. I am not ready. I didn't know how to tell you. I'm not financially ready. I'm not emotionally ready. And that sets you up for a trust building exercise that if you remember to follow up with them in 3 weeks and show up on their Facebook page. But you have to boil down your invite from a place of passion. I have changed my life. I have changed my husband and my kids' life. I've changed Team Genuine's life. I'm about to hug on, like, I don't even know, 20-something people in 3 weeks. And all of you on Friday night. And I'm inviting from that place. And if they're not ready, I have to bless and release the emotion part of that and move on to someone who is. Because it's much easier to work with somebody who's excited about 21 Day Fix recipes, who's excited about sharing in their sweaty pics or that they lost 5 pounds in the challenge group than it is to like, hey girl, you haven't posted in 14 days. Hey, you haven't responded in 36 months. Like, that's not fun. That's not why I coach. All right. Also, at the end of your invite, tell them the timeline and why they should join. So I've opened a new group. I literally opened it an hour ago. Prep week starts Monday. I have told my invites. My group is opening today. If you are going to coach with me in this group, if you're going to coach with me, I need you to get your stuff done by Friday so that I can get you trained or whatever. Give them a timeline. That may be, a enrolled thing for me, but I appreciated when Kristen was like, it's a 90-day challenge. You need to order by this Friday because prep week is this day. Some of my Sapphire is probably, they don't need to know the timeline as much, but I give them a timeline. And then I follow up the next day. Hey, you have 1 more day. And then I can send a message that says, I don't think this is the right time for you. Let's try again next month. Let's try again next season. Let's try again. Okay, somebody posted a question for me. Hey, I don't think this is the right time for you. Can I check back in 3 weeks, be sent to folks about the coaching opportunity? Yeah, of course. Kristen invited me, I want to say 4 times. maybe every week, I don't know, she hounded me. She was not going to let that go. She saw something in me I didn't see, which I'm sure you see in your prospects that they don't see either. And if she had given up on me, I wouldn't be here. And that's a little intimidating to think that, like, if you give up on that person in 3 weeks, if you forget, if you don't have a tracking system in your Teamsy or something that's working for you and you forget about that person, what could that mean for their family or for your income or for their income? Kind of scary. Okay, and we talked about this at the beginning of the call. Let your social media be the bridge. I have no idea what time it is, so someone like flash me if it's overtime. In the worst times of my life in the last 4 years as a coach, so horrible birth with my second son, depression stuff that my mom had to come over and help with some crazy stuff, even at the lowest points of my life, I never stopped posting on social media. Never. That was like, some of you have workouts as your non-negotiable. Some of you have your nutrition as non-negotiable. But for me, I knew that my lifeline out and my lifeline for leadership and my lifeline to touch more people was to be a bridge and a light on social media. Some of you are taking breaks on your social media, or you haven't trained enough, or you're not sharing a genuine heart enough on your social media. So when you go and send the 2-sentence invite, they don't know who you are. If you scroll on your social media and the only picture you see is this every day, it's the same workout picture, that doesn't tell me who you are. I don't know your struggles. I don't know if you've eaten an ice cream cone that night. I don't know if I can relate to you, and I don't know any of that. So I would say inviting and taking action behind the scenes is 99.999% of it. But the other part of that is your social media, and you have to do it, and you have to train your coaches to do it. And you have to put your big girl panties on. I don't mean to make anybody angry here, but you got to tell somebody when their social media sucks. You have to. Like, their business and their influence and their livelihood depends on you and your eye saying, you know, the only thing you ever post is the same workout selfie. Have you considered posting a recipe? Start small. Or, hey, Kristen did this to me a lot. She'd send me links to YouTube videos like, this is a really good YouTube video that I listened to, Nicole. Maybe you should listen to it. So it wasn't necessarily coming from her, but she totally was addressing when I was failing at something. And that's the only way we learn. If you're ignoring what your bridge isn't doing, like, oh, I'm just not going to post on social media because I don't know what to post, then you got to figure it out, either with your upline or with a YouTube video, or figure out some inspiration. I'll tell you, this is the same thing Melanie Mitro says. This is my inspiration for my social media. I think you could probably scroll back in 4 years of my Facebook page and see every freaking book I've read, because all of my posts are from the books that I read. Yeah, see, Kristen told you need more Facebook friends, but some of us it's that fear of like, oh, what if my coach quits? Well, she's not going to stay in it if it's the same picture over and over and over. If she has kids and I never see her kids, or she cooks but I never see her food, or I sing in church and you never see a picture of me singing. Like, you got to teach them how to share that story on social media.
Yeah, and you need varied posts, like, you're saying, like singing at church. The other things that you're passionate about, not everything should be fitness. And you guys not being afraid to be vulnerable. And I know that is hard for some people to share some of the stuff, that could be going on in life. Now, you don't want to use social media as a way to vent and to be, a sob story, but what you can use it for is a way to teach others how you're working through something, because that's what's going to inspire people. And they see themselves in your story and realize that, wow, like, if she can overcome that, maybe I could too. And that, the stories is where people, what do you mean? Sorry, my husband came in here and staring at me, distracting me. But it's people see themselves in you. Okay. And we're going to talk about that. We were talking about that today on my summit meeting, but that's something we're going to talk about at Summit, is really the importance of getting vulnerable. I mean, I've shared a whole lot, about our life. I don't share, I share how we're overcoming it. You know what I mean? They don't have to know every little detail, but they know there's been struggles, like they know what we've gone through in the last year or two with Greg's health and, miscarriage for me and Greg making decisions in the military. And so our social media sees that and how we keep remaining to be encouragers in other people's lives through all of that. And so that helps people connect to you. Go ahead, Nicole.
I feel like that's an excuse too. You have to be vulnerable on social media. This is your job.
Yeah.
This is your job.
You're protecting, it's a protective ego, well, what do people think,
I have incredible conversations with incredible human beings after some of my most questionable posts. Leah is smiling at me. It's true. It's true. No one can relate to a robot and or someone who's trying to be somebody else. I don't want my team to be me. I want them to be them. I want them to be them. I am going to attract a completely different person than Leah. We're different. We're different. And if you shy away from posting on your social media, that's when everybody have this voice, I don't know what to say. You send out the invite and then come back and you're like, I don't know, what do I say next? I don't know what to say. If your social media is correctly, that person feels like they could sleep over at your house, or you could go out to the bar and have a drink, or go to a coffee shop and have a latte, and they would know your life story. It is that kind of a relationship. And when you stop posting personal things on social media and sharing your life, they're like, okay, you sent me this invite. Now, who are you? How do I know you? Do I trust you? Is it simple? All those questions that we've done through training. Well, none of those make any sense unless you've been posting on social media. And that brings me full circle back to posting an ad or posting a challenge group flyer. I post those so people know that's part of my job. I don't post those for likes. I don't post those for engagement. I post those so that the 15 invites I sent the week before see that pop up on a Wednesday night and go, oh yeah, that's what she was talking about. I need to make sure that I get back to her. Not because I want 15 comments on my flyer. It's just part of who I am. Just like I have blonde hair, I'm also a coach. Just like I have a boy mom, I'm also a coach. Just like I, live in the armpit of America, I'm also a coach. That's who I am. That's who I am. There's a song or something like that. Robin just said, go send those messages. So the very end of my little script today just says, take freaking action. Take action. You have to do something. You have to do something. I don't care if it's you make a list because your list is your livelihood. I don't care if it's that you message your coaches and you apologize for not holding their hand through the invite process. I don't care if it's that you message the people that 3 weeks ago said, I'll check back on you and you never checked back, but you have to do something. You have to do something. That's all I got, y'all. I can answer questions. I don't know what time it is, but if I need to, I can answer questions.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So just to wrap up here, I wanted to share you with this checklist with you guys. I posted this in Dream Big maybe about a month ago, and it went along with a post about, are you struggling to hit Success Club? And the first thing is, well, are you inviting enough? Are you sending 3 invites on average a day? And if so, okay, great. Well, then let's look at your social media. What could you be missing? And here's some things, you guys, that you need to be making sure you're talking about weekly on your social media. This isn't about posting, all about 21-day fix or shift shop this or that. It can't constantly be about the name of something, but you're constantly adding value, making sure you're showing your progress, that you're sharing before and after pictures of other people, because that's what's going to show people that, hey, this actually works. Shakeology or the performance line, talking about how it helps you. I put up a post about Shakeology and why I drink it when I travel, that it helps keep me regular. And that got a great feedback, even though it's kind of vulnerable and silly, but that it, it was real. And it's true. Sharing my workouts, sharing videos of you doing your workouts. Why? But not just, you guys got my workout in today and flexing your muscles. You need to add more to that. Go deeper. Share a tip. Share why you worked out that day. What was so stinking hard about it, and how you overcame. Your meals, giving healthy recipes. My audience loves any kind of easy recipe that they can do for their family. Doing the call to action posts with your challenge groups, those are good. Just again, that's exposure. You can't expect everybody to jump on board with that. And then weaving in coaching and how it's helping you. That doesn't mean that it needs to be a call to action every single week with coaching, but I am talking about how coaching has helped my life. Sitting there was a post today with Caitlin in my lap while I'm doing a webinar, just like I'm doing again right now, how I am able to run this business with my kids right around me, how I was able to travel to California to be with my brother for his graduation, and we wouldn't have been able to afford that if I wasn't coaching. So all of those little things just show people, that's given her an extra income to be able to do more for her family. And then objections, like things that you get, people will say, well, I just don't have time right now to do a workout because we're going on vacation. Well, I made a post about how I am fitting in my workouts using my cell phone, the Beachbody On Demand. I can take my workouts with me on the go. Thank goodness I can stay on track with my goals. Heck, I need to post about this tomorrow. I lost a pound while I was on vacation. So, most people are gaining 10 pounds. I lost a pound because I could still do my workouts. So anyway, these are just some things, you guys, to look at. Look at this list. Ask yourself, have I posted about these things in the last week? And if not, if you're missing a lot of that stuff, you need to, print off that list and make sure that you are continually jabbing. It can't just be one post, one call to action post all month long about your challenge group, or one call to action post about coaching, and that's it. Like, you need to weave it in continually throughout the month so more people see it. Does that make sense?
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
We've got to stop saying that inviting is hard. Losing weight is hard. Miscarriage is hard. Having cancer is hard. Inviting is not hard. Inviting is not hard. Getting up at 4:30 in the morning sucks. It's hard. Sending an invite, not hard. I mean, if you talk about the things really that we're supposed to do in the vital behaviors, inviting is not hard. I would so much rather not work out. So much rather not work out. That's just me. I'd rather sleep in and have real coffee.
Crystal Humphreys gets up at 4:30 in the morning and works out.
Yeah. I get up at 5, but we are telling our coach, like, we set them up like, oh, inviting's hard. I think the hardest part is like, okay, you're in the challenge group and now like you really have to do it. Like, I got to hold your hand through it. I think that's hard. I think getting sick is hard.
It's a mindset thing.
Yeah, it's not hard. We gotta stop.
All right. Thank you, y'all. Well, thank you, Nicole, so much for leading this tonight. Good stuff, you guys. I hope you took a lot of notes. I'll share that checklist again with y'all, and Nicole will put up her example invites and follow-ups as well in our group message after the recording. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Y'all go get some sleep. Bye, guys.
Bye.